Everyone says, I love you, but that phrase is powerless, empty. The real magic lies in three very different words. Words that make anyone fall in love because they come from the only place love can exist. When most people speak of love, they speak of it as if it were something to be earned or proven or perhaps deserved. But love is not a transaction. It is not something you can trade for attention or for safety or for approval. It is not a currency of affection. Love is, instead, a recognition of something timeless. The tragedy is that we've been conditioned to believe love is something we get from others. Yet the truth is, it's something we realize within ourselves. And when we realize it, it radiates outward. It becomes almost impossible not to fall in love with people, with trees, with music, with existence itself. We must understand why love itself is so often misunderstood. Love is a kind of mirror, isn't it? When you look deeply into the eyes of another, what you're really seeing is yourself reflected back. That is why we fall in love, not with the person, but with the recognition of who we are when we are with them. And that is why so many relationships begin with a spark, then fade, because what begins as recognition turns to grasping. What begins as openness turns into control. We try to hold the reflection, but reflections cannot be held. They move with light, and light is always changing. To understand these three words, we must first stop trying to possess love. Possession destroys what it tries to keep. The moment you try to hold onto a wave, it slips through your fingers. The same is true of love. The great irony is that love only exists when you stop demanding that it stay. That's why I say, these three words are not meant to capture someone's heart, but to free it. They're not tools of seduction. They are invitations to awakening. Because the greatest form of love is not the love that says, you are mine, but the one that whispers, you are free. And when someone feels free in your presence, they fall in love effortlessly. You may notice that when you truly love someone, there's a sense of ease, a feeling of being at home. It's not frantic, it's not possessive, it's not desperate. It is gentle, playful, and aware. You laugh more, you breathe more. You stop trying so hard to be someone. That is what the three words bring forth. But here's the paradox. The more you chase love, the more it runs from you. Because to chase love is to imply you do not already have it. And the secret of all love is that it only recognizes itself. It responds to presence, not performance. So, what are these three words? I'll tell you. But I don't want you to just hear them. I want you to feel them. These words are, I see you. Simple? Yes, but their simplicity hides infinite depth. To truly see someone, not as a projection, not as an idea, not as a role they play in your story, but as they are, here and now, is the rarest form of love. Most people never feel seen. They spend their lives acting, hoping someone will notice their performance. But when someone looks at them and says silently or aloud, I see you, something sacred happens. They feel real again. The masks fall away. The heart, which has been armored by years of judgment and fear, begins to open. And that opening is what we call falling in love. It's not a manipulation. It's a recognition. Because love, at its essence, is awareness recognizing itself in another form. When you say, I see you, you're not offering flattery. You're offering presence. You are saying, I am here and I see the divine spark in you as it is in me. That's why those words carry such power. They require you to be awake, to look without wanting, to perceive without needing. Think about it. How many times have you met someone who only listened in order to reply? They're not seeing you. They're scanning for an opportunity to be seen. But when someone listens without agenda, without trying to fix you or win you over, your defenses dissolve. That's the essence of real love. The three words, I see you, are not about romance, though romance may follow. They are about union, the meeting of awareness through the mirror of the human experience. When someone feels seen, they begin to see you too. The reflection becomes mutual, and love begins to circulate like breath. The moment you say those words with sincerity, you stop trying to make anyone fall in love with you. You stop needing it. And that's precisely when people start to fall in love with you, because they sense your freedom. You become spacious, alive, real. The energy of wanting has dissolved, and in its place is being. People fall in love with being, not with needing. So when you say, I see you, what you're truly offering is the one gift no one can resist, the gift of presence. And presence is love made visible. You awaken the love that was always there. And in that instant, beyond words, beyond effort, two hearts remember that they were never separate. That is the only kind of love worth falling into. Let us explore what it means to see in this way. For to see someone, truly, is not a matter of the eyes alone. It is the perception of the heart, the kind of seeing that does not categorize or compare, the seeing that holds space for mystery. When you look at another person through the lens of judgment, you see what your mind allows. But when you look without judgment, you begin to perceive something extraordinary, the living consciousness behind the mask. That is why lovers can gaze at each other silently and feel they have said everything. There is no distance between the one who sees and the one who is seen. They are part of the same dance, the same movement of the universe observing itself. And that is why those three words, I see you, carry the vibration of unity. They dissolve the illusion that you and I are separate beings. When you speak them with sincerity, you are saying, the same life that moves in me moves in you. And that recognition is irresistible, because it awakens the deepest longing in the human spirit to be remembered by existence itself. But what prevents us from seeing in this way? It is fear. Fear clouds perception. Fear whispers, if I see you, you might see me. And if you see me, you might not like what you find. So we build walls of personality and pretend they are mirrors. Yet behind every wall is the same trembling heart, longing to be seen and loved. When you become the one who sees without fear, you become a sanctuary. People come near you and feel at peace, though they cannot explain why. You are no longer demanding love, you are radiating it. Now imagine what happens when two people both understand this. They meet, and instead of grasping at each other, they behold each other by trying to change nothing. And perhaps if you practice this seeing often enough, you begin to realize something even greater, that this same awareness can be directed inward. I see you is not only for others, it is for yourself. Can you look into your own heart and say those words, I see you? Can you see your flaws, your fears, your desires without turning away? Because self-love is not about affirmations or achievements. It is about seeing yourself without judgment. The moment you can sit quietly and see yourself as you are, you stop needing others to complete you. You meet them not from hunger, but from fullness. That is the point where human relationships become divine play. Love becomes the universe enjoying itself through two eyes, two hands, two hearts, yet all belonging to the same life. This understanding may sound philosophical, but it is entirely practical. Try it. The next time you meet someone, pause for a moment before speaking. Let go of your expectations. Forget your desire to impress. Simply notice them, the way their eyes hold stories, the way their presence fills the space. See without labeling. Feel without analyzing. And if, in that moment, Your being whispers silently, I see you. Something remarkable will happen. You will feel the air grow softer, the tension disappear, and the ordinary interaction will become sacred. You have entered the dimension of love that requires no words. When you live in this way, people are drawn to you, not because you are trying to attract them, but because your very being has become a reflection of peace. You have stopped playing the endless game of seeking approval. You have stopped being the beggar of affection and become the source of it. And so, you see, love is never something to be achieved. It is something to be revealed. It is the natural fragrance of consciousness once the weeds of fear and judgment are cleared away. The 3 words, I see you, are simply the sunlight that helps it bloom. Of course, this does not mean every person you meet will become your lover. Love is not always romantic. It takes many forms. Sometimes it becomes friendship, sometimes compassion, sometimes silence. But each is love in disguise. The beauty of seeing is that it frees you from needing to define what happens next. You no longer ask, will they love me back? Because you have already discovered the secret. Love never leaves the one who gives it. It is like music. You do not play it to possess the sound. You play it because the playing itself is joy. And this joy, my friends, is contagious. When you live with the awareness that every being you meet is an expression of the same life that breathes you, you cannot help but fall in love with everyone, with everything. Even the difficult people become teachers. Even the heartbreaks become openings. Love no longer needs to be safe because you are no longer afraid of losing it. You see, love that can be lost was never love. It was attachment. Real love is the recognition that there is no separation to begin with. That's why the words I see you carry such power. They end separation. Some may ask, but Alan, if love is so natural, why do we suffer so much in its name? Because we confuse love with control. We try to make love behave according to our fears. We turn it into contracts, conditions, and expectations. Yet love does not obey human laws. It flows like water, and the moment you try to contain it, it stagnates. The beauty of I see you is that it asks for nothing. It is not a demand, but a discovery. And from that discovery, love arises naturally, like sunlight through an open window. Imagine if we all began to live this way, to look at one another and say, with our eyes, if not our lips, I see you. The wars would lose their purpose. The loneliness that fills our cities would fade. Because what everyone truly wants is not to be admired or envied or obeyed, but to be seen, to be understood without defense, to feel that they exist in the gaze of another without needing to prove their worth. And this, you see, is the great revolution of love. It does not fight the world. It makes the world unnecessary to fight. Perhaps the next time you wish to say, I love you, pause first. Feel what those words mean. Ask yourself, do I see this person? Do I recognize their being beyond my desires? If the answer is yes, then your love will not be empty. It will be alive. For I love you without seeing is longing, but I love you that comes after I see you is truth. And in that truth, anyone who meets your gaze will feel it. They may not understand why, but they will sense it deep within. The warmth of being truly known. And perhaps that is the essence of all spiritual practice. To see clearly. Meditation, prayer, art, music, all are attempts to return to this clarity of vision. When the mind quiets, you begin to see the world as it is, alive, shimmering, endlessly dancing. And in that seeing, there is love. You fall in love with existence itself. That is why the mystics smile for no reason. That is why a child can laugh at nothing at all. They have not yet forgotten how to see. They are living the 3 words without even speaking them. I see you. Let this be your meditation. To see without trying, to love without seeking, to live without clinging. And when you do, you will find that love is not something to be found, it is what you are. The world becomes a mirror reflecting your own awakening. And every time you meet another soul, let your heart whisper quietly, I see you. Those 3 words are the key, the doorway, the entire universe condensed into a single moment of awareness. For love, my friends, has never been about 2 people finding each other. It is about the universe remembering itself through you.